I started training not just jiu-jitsu, but striking. I was like, all right, I want to find a way to do this where I don't like hurt my brain, right? It's like, all right, like I need to, I'm going to be running this company for a while. I would like to, like stay healthy and not take too much damage. And so I think the number one thing you need to do is, well, in addition to having good partners, is have a strong neck.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I take that pretty seriously.
It's very important. A strong neck is great for jiu-jitsu as well because it's a weapon. Like in certain positions, like head and arm chokes.
Yeah,
you need a neck.
Yeah.
It's a weapon.
Yeah.
And and also for defending things and just for overall stability. But for striking, it's very like Mike Tyson in his prime. He had a fucking 20-inch neck.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. His neck is like bigger than his
This is
face.
a photo of him in a suit.
Yeah.
It's the craziest photo. It's like his neck starts at the top of his ears and it just goes straight down. When he was the champ, when he was a tank.
He's amazing.
Yeah. The neck's very important, but it's also like, you're doing it very smart. You're bringing in Dave Camarillo.
He's awesome.
Amazing.
He's awesome.
You're bringing in all these like super talented people to train with you too, which is really important. And just learn systematically, probably the way you've learned all these other things, which is really so fascinating to me about MMA and jiu-jitsu in particular, is the general public has this knuckle dragging, meathead sort of perspective, and then I'm like, let me introduce you to Mikey Musumeci.
Yeah. Well, there's a range. There's a range from Mikey to...
But Mikey's one of the elite of the elite, and he's about as far from that.
I love Mikey. He's a very good guy.
He's super good guy. Yeah. He's super kind and unbelievably brilliant and eccentric and just so dedicated to jiu-jitsu. Right? I mean,
I'm glad that he's over at the UFC now.
Yes, I am too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad a guy like that exists. I'm like, okay, I know you think that. Let me show you this guy. And then I'm like, let me show you what it really is. Let me introduce you to these people because they're the nicest people.
I know.
There's no better stress reliever in the world than jiu-jitsu or martial arts. There's no better. You leave there, you're the kindest person in the world. You just like all of your aggressions out of your system.
Yeah.
And it's a phenomenal stress reliever because regardless of what you're going through day to day with Facebook and Meta and all the different projects you have going on, it's not as hard as someone trying to choke you unconscious.
Well, it's not as acute. I think it's like sometimes you have someone trying to choke you unconscious slowly over a multi-year period, and that's business. But but no, I think that sometimes in business the cycle time is so long that it is very refreshing to just have a feedback loop that's like, oh, I had my hand down, so I got punched in the face. It's like but yeah, no, it's really important to me for balance. I mean, I basically try to train every morning. I'm either doing general fitness or kind of MMA. I do sometimes grappling, sometimes striking, or sometimes both. But it got to the point where I tore my ACL training. I was probably at that point I wasn't integrated between my weight training and my fighting training, so I think I was probably overdoing it. So now we basically, I'm just trying to do this in a cohesive way, which I think will be more sustainable. But when I tore my ACL, first of all, everyone at the company was like, fuck, we're gonna get so many more emails now. It's like that he can't do this. and then I sat down with Priscilla, and I expected her to be like, you're an idiot. Like, what do you expect? You're like, I was in my late 30s at the time, but she was like, no. She's like, when you heal your ACL, you better go back to fighting. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you are so much better to be around now that you're doing this. You have to fight. And so
that's hilarious.
Yeah. So
isn't it funny that that's completely contrary to the way most people, if they're outside of it, would perceive it?
I mean, it definitely takes the edge off things. Right? It's like after a couple of hours of doing that in the morning, it's just like, it's like nothing else that day is going to stress you out that much, right? You can just deal with it.
Voluntary adversity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. It's also good, I think, to be a little bit tired. I love that feeling of just like, you're not exhausted. And sometimes you get a session and you just go so hard and I need to just go to sleep or something. But
it's also good to know that you can kill people. That's a good thing to know. It's a good thing to know if something goes sideways.
I guess there's a certain confidence from that. Yeah,
it's an important skill.
Yeah.
If you could give it in a pill, if you could sell it in a pill, everybody would buy it.
Yeah.
100%. No one would say, I'd like to be the vulnerable guy walking around with a bunch of fucking assassins.
Yeah.
No one would say that. They would say, how much is the pill? Oh, it's $2. Oh, give me one of those pills. You take the pill. Everybody would take that pill. Well, it
Yeah.
exists. It's just not a pill. It's a long journey of pain and discipline and trial and error and learning and being open-minded and being objective and understanding position and asking questions and having good training partners and absorbing information and really being diligent with your skill acquisition work, which is one of the most important and neglected parts of jiu-jitsu because training is so fun. Everybody just wants to roll. Where really the best way to do it is actually to drill. And it's the most boring, but really you should drill constantly, just jam those skills into your neurons where your brain knows exactly what to do in every position. And it's such